There he is, Mr. Hank the Tank. I did a Q&A last night and there was so many questions about Hank, specifically about, 5 times more than any other dog, that I thought I'd bring him out here and do some answer some of the most common questions. I'm absolutely dripping in sweat, as you can see, because walking Hank is a big activity. Quite exuberant he is. So the main thing that people were asking me was about Hank's health, and to answer that I probably need to tell you how old he is. And it's very hard with street dogs to tell their age, because we sort of guess. We'll look at their teeth, which is a really good way. So we can look at their teeth. I don't know if Hank will come into the shot too easily. I think he will. Hank, come here, mister. We want to show your teeth. We want to show your beautiful teeth. So you can see his teeth there. We looked at those, quite sort of fresh looking, very clean, and he looks quite young. So we originally thought he was about 3 or 4 years old, and that's very unscientific. We don't, do tests or anything like that, but we're pretty good at guessing the age. But actually with Hank, I think we were completely and utterly wrong. I think Hank now is about 7 or 8, which for a big dog is quite old. Big dogs like Hank would live to about 10 maybe, on average. Maybe a little bit older if they're well looked after, maybe a little bit younger, but a big dog will usually last that long. So Hank is much older, and that explains his health. What you can see in the video from when I was walking him just now, he has 2 really bad injuries, Hank. One is his vertebrae, and I'm going to butcher the name of both of these injuries, but I'll put it up on the screen. So his vertebrae has some little tingly things growing down from them, and I'm gonna say it's called spanediphylla. That's completely wrong, but the name's on the screen. So basically my understanding from talking to Sybil and from talking to the vets who saw it on the x-ray was that it is from old age, and there's nothing you can do from it. It's touching down into the vertebrae, or sort of rubbing off each other, I think, and basically there's nothing you can do to operate on something like that. So that's an old age injury. And he also has, which is very common, as people will know, in bigger dogs, he has hip dyslexia. Dyslexia. I'm gonna write it on the screen. But basically where the hip starts to slip out of the joint. So unfortunately those are 2 quite serious injuries that come with old age. There's not a lot we can do. There's very little. We can get some nice medicines. People have been really good with suggestions, and obviously the vets are good and Sybil is good, but it's a case of managing it. Now what is really unfortunate for Hank is that it all goes up into his back here, so the hip and the vertebrae make him have a really bad back, so he has spasms in his back. But you wouldn't notice from Hank, because when he goes on walks, he is like an absolute lunatic. He dives around the place, runs down the hill, runs up the hill. So my biggest challenge at the moment is keeping Hank nice and calm. And it's a real balance, because I don't want him to be miserable. I keep him on as short a lead as I can sometimes, and we rest him up in the house. But he's a dog. He wants to play. He's full of energy. He's excited to see me. But he really is, in Ireland we say, an Egypt. He's a big buffoon. He jumps down 5 flights of stairs forgetting he has any injuries. He launches himself across the house onto the couch. So age is a big factor for street dogs. We don't actually know how long most street dogs live. The simple fact is their lifespan is a lot shorter than most dogs, without a doubt. But Hank, probably 7 or 8, so that's contributed to his health problems. How long will he live? Another common question. I don't know. He's very healthy and everything else, so maybe got another couple of years in him. It doesn't limit his movement too much. We try and keep his walk short, and then he does suffer a bit sometimes. We give him a little bit of pain relief and some other medicines to lubricate the joints, for want of a better word. I don't know what the medicines are, but they're very important, and they give him a good quality of life. So Hank is obviously staying with me forever. He loves it here. He's not good with male dogs at all, but he likes the female dogs. And I think why people love Hank so much is how kind he was to the dogs who are dying. He really has become like a nurse to the dogs who arrive on their last legs at my house. He's a big, huge dog. In terms of breed, again, I don't know. This is the really hard thing of looking after street dogs. A lot of it is guesswork. There I believe by looking at him there's some dog de Bordeaux in him, and definitely pit bull. He's a big mix of those two, I would say. If I put up a picture, Megan who's editing this can find a dog de Bordeaux and a pit bull, and I think a mix of those two is my best guess. Maybe I should do one of those DNA tests that everybody promotes online. But he's a very happy dog. I just wanted to answer some of those common questions. What are his favorite snack? Actually, people ask that. His favorite snack is food. He would eat anything, Big Hank, literally anything. How often does he sort of walk? I leave him at home when I'm out doing the dogs, and I walk him 3 times a day. So 6 o'clock in the morning when I get up before I go to either feed the dogs or go to the land. Then I come and give him a walk at 11, and then it's too hot. You can see the sweat on me during the day. So he sleeps in the aircon in my room all day. And then in the evening now at this time, 5:30, 6, he has a big walk. So 3, I mean, they're not big walks. They're about 500 meters. It's more of a sniff, 500 yards. So that's more or less Hank. Anything else that you need to know about him? He's a very, very good boy. He loves, his favorite snack, yeah, all food. He just loves food. But I'm trying to keep his weight down because that's also bad for his back. But with sick dogs, especially street dogs who've had a tough life, I think there's a balance. Like, I can't make Hank miserable. I can't keep him at home and, like, you know, not walk him and give him diet food all day so he slims down completely and it saves his joints. Like, I can do a mixture of that, you know. You don't want to, the dog still has to live, is my opinion. So I think he's having a wonderful life. He loves it here. It's just me and him, and I think we'll keep it like that. I think it's ideal for me and him to have a place at home where he can come in and look after the sick dogs, like Valentina and little Essie, who he helped. He's a very, very kind gentleman of a dog, and he's actually pulling me down the hill now. Oh, he's very sensitive soul, even though he's a big boy and he gets in fights with other male dogs. That it didn't do him any favors in his life, I don't think, with his injuries, but he's a sensitive soul at the same time. So for me and Hank, if you enjoyed this video, subscribing would be a massive help, and I hope that helped paint a picture of the beautiful Hank.